Have you ever sent money overseas and been hit with unexpectedly high transfer fees and awful exchange rates after spending days waiting for the funds to arrive at the recipient's account? Yeah, join the club. International business banking is often seen as a cash cow by the traditional banks, with a seemingly endless stream of charges hidden behind complicated and unclear language, and sometimes their fees aren't even available on their website at all. Often, it's not until you've paid a £30 SWIFT fee and a 3% currency markup on a payment to an overseas supplier or freelancer that you dig that little bit deeper to see all the fees that you've been paying. The World Bank estimates that these hidden charges cost small businesses as much as 5 to 8% of their international income. That's a good chunk of your profitability that you're handing over to a bank that, well, let's be honest, already has more money than it needs. Plus, in most cases, you'll have to wait 2 to 5 business days to receive your money. It used to be the case that you had no choice but to accept these charges. But now, there's a growing number of financial platforms that enable you to make faster cross-border payments at bank-beating rates. One of those is Airwallex. I'm Chris Farman, and I'm going to reveal the hidden costs of overseas transactions with traditional banks and how switching to a platform like Airwallex can help you take back control. The hidden costs of traditional international banking. Making a £1,000 payment to an overseas supplier can easily cost you £1,100 or more with charges and currency markups. This invisible drain can affect your ability to grow and expand your business. But where do these hidden charges come from? SWIFT fees. Well, SWIFT fees are usually the biggest charge when making an overseas payment. In a SWIFT transfer, your money passes through a network of banks, with each bank in the chain deducting a fee. 4 or 5 intermediary banks can be involved in a SWIFT transfer before it reaches its final destination. That's what makes it so expensive. With a traditional bank, you can expect to pay a SWIFT fee of between £20 and £40 per transaction. Exchange rate markups. The next big hit comes from the exchange rate markups. When you make an international payment, your bank must convert your currency so the recipient's bank can receive it. Now, to do that, they use something called the interbank rate, which is the rate banks use when trading with each other. However, predictably, for you and me, they add a big old markup. Traditional banks typically add a 2 to 3% markup on the interbank rate when exchanging currencies, but some can charge up to 5%, and often they don't communicate it clearly. So you're left wondering why paying a supplier or freelancer has suddenly become so expensive. Inbound payment fees. Some banks also charge you a fee for receiving an international payment. So say you run an agency with overseas clients or an e-commerce business with international customers. You receive less than the amount they paid. Traditional banks charge anything from £5 to £15 to process the incoming funds. Account subscription fees. Another cost to look out for is a monthly fee, simply for the privilege of having an account. These subscriptions or maintenance fees are a fixed monthly charge that you pay regardless of your usage. Some banks may offer an introductory period with no fees or have tiered structures for different plans, but given the number of excellent online platforms with no monthly fees, this is one cost that you can and should avoid. Delayed transfers. In business, there's also a hidden cost to waiting longer for international payments. Factors like intermediary banks and compliance checks means international transfers with traditional banks often take longer than many online payment platforms. Waiting up to 5 working days for payments to arrive can cause cash flow problems and can create indirect costs, such as higher borrowing costs, damage to client and supplier relationships, and an inability to invest. Compliance and admin. One way some businesses try to avoid high currency conversion fees is to open accounts in different countries. That allows them to pay suppliers and freelancers and receive payments from customers in the local currency. While you can open bank accounts in countries that you don't have a physical presence in, the process takes time, with multiple compliance checks, tedious paperwork, and slow onboarding to deal with. And in business, there's a monetary value to that wasted time. How Airwallex solves these problems? So, there are hidden costs to cross-border payments that accumulate at every stage of your journey. But what's the solution? Well, the truth is that many of these costs are entirely avoidable simply by switching to a specialist cross-border payment platform. And even if you can't avoid these hidden costs entirely, you can almost always reduce them. Airwallex is one such platform. It takes the pain out of international payments by delivering a cheaper, simpler, and faster experience. Here's how it can save you money. No SWIFT charges on most routes. SWIFT transfer fees are a significant cost for many businesses, but there is a way to avoid them. Airwallex uses its proprietary access to local rails and systems to bypass SWIFT transfers as much as possible. 90% of the transfers that you send with Airwallex go through local networks rather than SWIFT. When you want to make an international payment, Airwallex transfers your money into one of its local accounts in your home country. It then pays your recipient from another account it holds in their country, and, well, it's as simple as that. And that removes the need for intermediary banks and their processing fees. Plus, international transfers over Airwallex's local payment rails are completely free. Just keep in mind that FX rates still apply. Airwallex can pay out to over 120 countries through local networks rather than SWIFT. It also guarantees that the recipient receives the full payment with no deductions or nasty surprises. Fast global transfers. Using Airwallex's local networks rather than SWIFT transfers also speeds up payments, enabling payouts to over 150 countries with more than 120 leveraging local payment rails. About 57% of transactions are instant and 95% arrive within a few hours or the same day. Those quick payouts help you avoid unnecessary costs and keep your global suppliers and employees happy. Transparent FX margins. Now, when you send a transfer with Airwallex that requires currency exchange, you are clearly shown the interbank rate for more than 60 currencies and the small markup that applies. More than 100 currencies priced live on the spot market. That markup is usually between 0.5 and 1%, depending on the currency pair. That represents an 80% saving on traditional banks. Free local currency accounts. And what if we told you that you can avoid currency conversion markups altogether? Well, with Airwallex, you can instantly open currency accounts with local bank details across more than 60 countries, including in Europe, Singapore, Hong Kong, the US, and Australia, without having a physical presence in those countries. That allows you to receive payments from your overseas clients via local bank transfers. And if you're selling through marketplaces, you can also accept card payments and local payment methods in the same currencies. Now, there are also no additional fees for opening foreign currency accounts. Batch transfers. You can use Airwallex batch transfers feature to send funds in one go to multiple recipients around the world, each with a specified amount. It saves a ton of your time managing your payments to your suppliers or contractors everywhere. Integrated virtual cards. Airwallex also offers virtual and physical company and employee cards, so businesses can easily spend the money they hold in their multi-currency accounts. That allows you to make in-store and online purchases without foreign transaction fees. Pros and cons? Okay, so we've seen that Airwallex can reduce the costs associated with international business banking, but like any provider, it has its good and bad points. Now, when it comes to the pros, we love the clear and transparent pricing so that you know exactly how much you're paying and why. When you do need to exchange currencies, the markup is very competitive. 57% of Airwallex international transfers arrive instantly, and over 95% of transactions arrive within a few hours or the same day. You can create multi-currency accounts almost instantly, and it's regulated by the FCA, and your funds are safeguarded. So that's an excellent start, but there are a few things to look out for. Firstly, it's not a full-service bank and doesn't offer loans, overdrafts, or checkbooks. It also does not have any physical branches, so you can't access in-person customer support or deposit cash and checks. Airwallex corporate cards don't support ATM withdrawals, so you'll need to bear it in mind for your cash management. However, if you're mostly dealing with online payments and only need a digital solution, these limitations might not really matter to you. Who should consider switching? Now, if you pay foreign suppliers, employees or freelancers, or receive payments from foreign customers and marketplaces via a traditional bank, switching to Airwallex could save you thousands of pounds in unnecessary fees every year. As a quick example, if you're a small business with 10 international employees, you'll make 120 international transfers a year just to pay their monthly salary. If you pay them each the equivalent of £2,000 a month, with a traditional bank, you could easily waste £100 in transfer fees and currency exchange markups. That's the equivalent of £1,000 per month across the team in unnecessary fees. Over a year, that's £12,000 down the plug hole. Agencies, SaaS and e-commerce businesses with foreign customers and clients will also benefit from switching. They can reduce their fees for receiving payments and accept payments in their customers' currencies. Switching to Airwallex can also help small businesses and startups that see an opportunity to scale internationally. They'll be able to process payments in various currencies and support a wider range of payment methods in different countries. They'll also avoid hefty transfer fees and currency markups when paying overseas suppliers. So, the good news is that the era of excessive and hidden charges for cross-border payments, well, it's over. There are platforms out there like Airwallex that will save you money. They'll also make your business more agile and put you in a better position to attract global talent and expand into new markets. Now, you can click the link in the description to read our full review or scan this QR code to learn more about how Airwallex can help. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and please take a second to like or share this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more business boosting content.